Let's check this out. More rockers react from Revolver, and shout out to Revolver's content team. Whatever show this was at where they got the same 8 bands to sit down and answer questions, and they made like 52 videos out of it for the next like 2 years. This was the most productive video shoot of all time. Shout out to the Revolver team for absolutely squeezing every single possible drop of blood from this stone. Anyway, let's check it out. We'll see who is the greatest metal vocalist of all time according to rockers. Rockers only, people. What I want to know is, how do they screen people to know if they were rockers? That's what I want to know. Do they ask to see your rocker identification card, or like, how do you know someone's a rocker? And by the way, I know I'm getting old because I just caught myself doing the Bill Clinton finger point. He would do this instead of doing this, because pointing your finger is rude, but if you do it with the knuckle, like, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. When he wanted you to know he meant business, he did the knuckle point. I'm going to do that. That's how I know I'm getting old. Anyway, let's see. Who is the greatest metal vocalist of all time, according to your favorite rockers? Before we get any further into the video, have you checked out my Spotify playlist? I add new stuff to it pretty much anytime I find a cool new song, so I update it usually a couple times a week with some new stuff. So if you are looking for new music to check out, hit the link in the description of this video.
Of all time.
Damn, these questions are hard, because now I'm like, there's a lot. Well, being a great heavy metal band means you have a great front man.
Baisley says, being a great heavy metal band means you have a great front man. Well, that's what it used to mean. Now it just means riffs. It just means you write a bunch of riffs, and then you have your vocalist write some like half-ass shit over the top that doesn't mean anything, and then you put it on Octane. How did it happen that metal people stopped caring about vocals and they stopped caring about lyrics? That's what happened. And is it a coincidence that the moment that metal started to just be like about riffs and it was just guitarists writing riffs for other guitarists, that's when metal fell off? I don't think it's a coincidence.
Give me a sec.
I bet a lot of people said Dio.
That is easy as shit. That's Rob Halford from Judas Priest. Everyone knows that.
Okay.
It's not even up for debate. That is the answer.
Gwar, the guy from Gwar, I forget his name, he says Rob Halford. I won't argue with that. And I've said before, Rob Halford seems like a nice guy. I feel like he would be a great neighbor. I like him. I was on a plane once with him and Jess Bowen from the Somerset, and I saw Rob Halford just sitting at baggage claim, you know, looking at his phone or whatever. I was like, that's fucking Rob Halford.
I have to go with Ronnie James Dio, just because I would not be the singer that I am today without him.
Lizzie Hale says Ronnie James Dio from Black Sabbath and Dio, and what was his other band? Was he in Rainbow? Yeah, he's in Rainbow. Solid choice. I won't disagree with that. She should have said Ronnie Radke. That's her. She must have misspoken. She said Ronnie James Dio, but I'm pretty sure she meant to say Ronnie Radke.
Man, you know,
I vote Lizzie Hale.
so many. Oh, buddy.
Christian
That
Sidehug.
was my vocal record.
Yes.
I think I'm going to have to go with Hetfield, because I just think I think as a player, as a vocalist, and
Hetfield.
as somebody who understands how to speak to and connect with and engage their audience, I don't think there's somebody who's bridged the gap between old and new.
Okay, listen. Respect to Baisley. Seems like a great guy. Nothing but respect for him, but I don't understand how anybody could possibly choose James Hetfield as the best vocalist in metal. Incredibly good rhythm guitarist. As he said, a very charismatic frontman. Seems like a great guy. I would definitely invite James Hetfield over for my barbecue. And you know why? Because, you know, he's really into beekeeping. So I feel like James Hetfield would probably bring over some like really nice honey from his hives. So I would invite him over just to get his honey. But I got to be honest, puzzling choice to me to pick. I don't even think James Hetfield thinks he's a great vocalist. I'm pretty sure that James Hetfield would say that he sucks as a vocalist.
Hard metal and, you know, contemporary rock, big crowds, little crowds, musical people who just like to party and get amped. I mean, that James as a front person. I
feel like he's saying a lot of things about Metallica that are true. A lot of good reasons to respect Metallica, but I don't know that that means James is necessarily a great vocalist, in my opinion.
Especially in the live arena, I think he's got a level of control over all things on stage that is mystifyingly powerful.
I agree with that.
It's changed so much over the last 50 years, you know? So if I go by like consistency and then also someone who can sing in a dynamic way, whether they have a bit of a harsh vocal or a more soft vocal, I don't know. I'm
curious. What's she going to say? Courtney's smart. Courtney's one of these people that understands old and new. She has a good like big picture view of these things. So she has a good analytical mind. She's talking about like harsh and clean. I'm curious what she's going to say.
I think we got to give it up to Bruce Dickinson.
Bruce Dickinson.
Doing that for 50 years now, and he can sing in a more powerful way and in a more beautiful way still than anyone half his age. So
well, valid. I personally could never get into Iron Maiden specifically because of his vocals, because again, I got into metal in 1990 and Suicidal Tendencies was the first band that I got into, and then I heard like Sepultura and The Accused and all that kind of stuff. So when I heard Iron Maiden, I was like, this is the word we used at the time. I'm not saying I used the G word that we're not allowed to use anymore, but this was 1990. That's what we said at the time. I thought Iron Maiden sounded a little bit G word at the time, but respect to Bruce Dickinson. Again, I would absolutely have him over at my barbecue as well. Seems like a great guy, and we could probably ask him lots of stories about flying planes and about history. I feel like we were like, hey, Bruce, tell us a cool story about World War I. He would say, oh, righto. Well, here's the thing, and then he would tell us a cool story about Rommel and maybe this is World War II, Rommel and Patton in North Africa or something.
I think he will probably go down in history as as like the greatest, not only metal vocalist, but like just rock and metal, heavy metal vocalist.
Yeah,
and
fair.
I don't know if there'll ever be someone that can do that, fill those shoes again, because it's just like a couple of once in a lifetime acts that are still doing it, and Iron Maiden's one of them.
Valid. It's not to my personal taste. I've never been a fan of Iron Maiden, but I respect it. Solid answer.
Probably the greatest, but we'll just throw some other ones in.
Heavy metal!
Is that supposed to be Rob Halford?
Yes.
Okay.
The metal god. They don't call him the metal god for nothing.
He is the metal god.
He is the metal
See?
god.
I mean, he's
What was I just saying?
himself as the metal
He's
god.
the metal god.
If you see Rob Halford walk in, you can't help but go, there's the metal god.
He's the
That's
metal
right.
god.
That's right.
He's the metal god.
No one sings higher than him. I mean, it's between
It's true.
Dio and Rob.
Mine will be Rob Halford.
But I gotta throw Bruce Dickinson in there. Top three. Dio, Rob Halford, Bruce Dickinson.
Corey Taylor.
Corey Taylor, okay. We know where Garza stands. He shows up in his Coal Chamber shirt. Nobody can be surprised that he picked Corey Taylor.
Corey Taylor. As far as like aggression, what he's saying, the depth, the emotion, the longevity. I mean, obviously, let the records speak for themselves. You got a self-titled Iowa, subliminal verses, I Hope It's Gone. Like the vocals on the first Let My record and Iowa are just like my favorite extreme heavy vocals.
I do not disagree with any of that. I think Corey Taylor is fucking ridiculous. Like he has such a powerful voice without, he doesn't do like gutturals and he doesn't like scream necessarily, but he just has a lot of power. You know what I mean? It's like probably like Corey Taylor and Phil Anselmo are probably the two most powerful voices. So I think that's a very solid pick. And Corey's held up. They've been a band for 30 years now. And Corey still sounds great. I wouldn't say that I'm a huge fan of their new music necessarily, but Corey himself still sounds fantastic, as good as ever. No, he doesn't scream in the sense of like, like how Suicide Silence does. You know what I mean? It just, they're more like, almost like bellowing or something. You know what I mean? He doesn't scream,
That's my favorite.
Yeah, and a lot of range.
Corey Taylor for sure.
Okay, well, we knew that the guy from We Came as Romans, who barely a rocker, in my opinion, after he got a little gatekeepy when it comes to the celebrities wearing metal shirts thing. I'm a little soured on Dave from We Came as Romans. We knew he was a new metal fan.
Way, like,
and just look at that.
Have, like, evolved
nipple flapping out in the wind.
Stick with me, and I think he's the most distinct voice and as far like
yeah, growl. That would be the right word for Corey.
And the way he like shapes and molds his voice has changed almost on like every record, but still sounds like him.
Yeah.
And I think even now he's still like crafting it in such a way.
Yep,
that
valid. Corey sounds amazing.
Else do.
I really like more recently on the latest Slipknot album how Corey kind of does more of those almost like power metal type vocals. They actually sound really cool because, you know, people don't know how much he can actually like sing. I think that sounds really cool. He does new stuff all the time. And yeah, Corey Taylor's totally solid pick.
Gonna definitely be Alyssa.
Oh yeah, fucking Alyssa from Arch Enemy. I have no idea how to make those noises.
Yeah, she's great. Alyssa from Arch Enemy, she is great. I don't know that I would pick her as the greatest metal vocalist of all time. That seems like a bit of an odd choice to me, but she is excellent.
A lot of bands that have like fucking double tracking and shit on the heavy bit. Like metalcore bands these days have like 8 fucking tracks of screaming. It gets confusing. I don't know what you're saying anymore. Alyssa is. It's weird. It's like one of the monsters from Doom decided to like start a band. It just sounds fucking incredible. It's like it's actually beautiful how nasty.
Beautiful.
It is. I would.
Alyssa,
very much like to
she's beautiful.
Hop into her and get some tips on the voice.
Sam wants a vocal lesson from Alyssa.
I just want to sound like not a human anymore.
Yeah, she does sound like a beast. Who did Anders say?
Biff Byford. Saxon, as they have.
Oh, Saxon. Okay. I'll be honest. I have never really listened to Saxon enough. I mean, I've heard Saxon, Denim and Leather, but I've never listened enough to Saxon to have an opinion on his vocals.
The best heavy metal frontman. And he still can sing like a fucking king.
I mean, just because we're on tour with him right now, I am blown away by Randy. His whole presence on stage. This is my first time getting to see them.
Randy from Lamb of God, okay.
It's just
solid choice.
One of the most convincing, like, fucking hard asses I've ever seen on stage, you know? It's really cool. Like, to
especially considering now that he's like, I don't know, Randy's in his 50s now, right? And he still sounds good.
Watch him just work the room, get people riled up. His mic sets, how they feel as a band on stage with him out front. It's fucking scary. It's scary, yeah. He's completely not full of shit out there, you know? They're really doing that, and it's awesome.
I'm on board with it. I'm kind of surprised nobody has said Phil Anselmo yet. I wonder if that's because people don't respect his vocals or just because nobody wants to praise Phil Anselmo because of his antics. So I feel like no matter what you think about Phil, you know, and his opinions and his antics, I feel like you got to respect his vocals. I mean, he's fucking incredible. One of the all-time greats, no question about it. So it's kind of surprising to me that nobody's mentioned him yet.
I don't know, bro. Seeing Corey in person on this tour has been the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, there's just the stamina, like...
Another Corey Taylor mention?
Set before them, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can talk.
Well,
I can't imagine going, almost 2 hours a day every day.
A lot of people might not be familiar with the stuff before Cowboys. Well, he goes high on Cowboys, too. On Shattered and Cemetery Gates and stuff. He does a lot of falsettos and stuff on that, too.
Corey Taylor, though.
Yeah, Corey Taylor's insane. Corey Taylor has, like, a rawness to him, like a power that, like, no other vocalist has.
Obviously, it's not metal, but Freddie Mercury.
It's not metal. Who is the greatest metal vocalist of all time? Well, it's not metal, but... Come on, stay on topic, buddy. Stay on topic.
But, he took that stage like a fucking god. Oh, damn, this is
Freddie Mercury
Bruce
Dickinson is great. Okay,
He's
another Bruce Dickinson.
Every fucking night, and he's like inviting the crowd, and everybody feels like they're on the stage. I think he's doing the killer job.
Corey Taylor. He has the crowd by his hands every time.
So this is Clown from Slipknot's son. He said Corey Taylor. A little bit biased, obviously, but hey, not a bad pick.
And it's like, you don't see that. So, that's what I think of.
Fair.
I agree with that.
Fair.
I'm going to say Jason from Fever 333.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
Jason from Fever. Now, Jason from Fever, incredible showman, but I don't know that I would say Jason from Fever belongs in the category of best vocalist. He goes wild on stage, for sure.
They're not technically a metal band. They're more of like a rock band, but they're called Japanese Voyeurs. They only
only
had one album and then they dipped out, but Romilly Alice.
Rob Zombie, because he says, yeah, and he has goggles on his top hat. Obviously, it's Rob Zombie.
Rock vocalist of all time. She's so fucking good.
Sounds like a 14-year-old girl doing a Nirvana impression.
Yeah, and then she fucking rips out these like gravelly screams, and it's like, what the fuck? I love the duality.
You what?
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah.
There's no place for men in metal.
There's no place for men in
There's no place
metal.
for men in
Metal.
metal vocal selection.
Jack Black from Tenacious D said it on stage the other day. Ronnie James Dio.
Ronnie James Dio. Okay. Jose, going with Ronnie James Dio. I feel like that's a good pick, but listen, Jose's got his Cowboys from Hell necklace on. Isn't he even going to say Phil? No one going to say Phil?
He is the greatest metal vocalist of all time. My favorite is Ozzy. I have Ozzy's face tattooed on my leg. I don't know if you can see this. Hold on. Sorry, I'm messing around with the camera angles.
I'm gonna try to show you my Ozzy tattoo if I peel off these skin-tight jeans.
But this is my Ozzy fucking tattoo and his signature. But I love Ronnie James Dio, and I will answer that question to the best of my ability. And Ronnie James Dio is the best fucking metal vocalist ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Fair.
Oh, well, duh. Obviously, Corey Taylor is the
Okay, well, finally, Alicia Taylor, wife of Corey Taylor. Last time she wouldn't say Slipknot. I don't know why. And I said, I imagine Corey being like, come on, babe, really? Throw me a bone just for once. When Revolver asks you who's the best something, please just once say Slipknot. Come on, babe. Throw me a bone here. Finally, she comes through and says Corey Taylor.
best heavy metal frontman of all time, ever will be. 1,000%. You can't convince me otherwise. Sorry.
She's behind her man. Or another Corey Taylor.
Go with. What are you looking at? First of all,
that's Chester Bennington for me.
What are you looking at?
He's going with Chester.
Okay, someone said Chester. I feel like that's a good pick. I'm kind of surprised that nobody said Chester so far. He was really great. Great frontman, great vocalist. Everyone loves Linkin Park. I'm surprised that it took this long to hear Chester.
Chester Bennington.
Linkin Park.
I think it would be, I'd say Randy Blythe for me because...
Okay, another Randy from Lamb of God, another one.
So Randy Blythe for me.
I want to lean towards Corey. Spends the majority of his sets like
Mike's dead. Again, how did Mike die? Why does he wear fingerless gloves everywhere? I don't know.
Level scream rapping almost to the point. Like if you look at it, if you break it down, it's almost like scream poetry. Dude is doing that and then sings fine. At 48 years old, from a vocal
Can we look him up? No, I'm not going to look him up. I refuse to look up anybody who's wearing fingerless gloves
for 2 hours a night and then keep doing that. I want to say Corey. There's
only thing that's better than wearing fingerless gloves is if you were just wearing MMA gloves everywhere. Just come at me, bro. Come at me. I got to wear my gloves because you never know who's going to try to start some shit with me. If someone starts shit with me, I'm just going to see red, bro. So I wear my MMA gloves everywhere.
frontman. There's, I love Fred Durst. Like, from the hip hop side, right?
The hip
I wouldn't
hop.
compare him to Corey.
Mike's dead, showing his credibility here. Said, I love Fred Durst from the hip hop side. Fred Durst, everyone's favorite MC, right?
Because it's so different. But, they're all in their own element. They all have their
The one thing all hip hop fans can agree on
Chester Bennington, when it comes to singing,
is the greatness of Fred Durst as an MC.
Wins. But it's very perspective on what we're looking for.
This guy right here.
Hey, they never give me compliments.
But before him will be
Other than him.
Corey Taylor.
Another Corey Taylor. Okay, Corey
I
Taylor
hate being that dude, but
and Ronnie James Dio. So far, the standouts.
So many years.
Yeah, same. So there's Josh, and then there's Corey Taylor, for sure.
Interesting.
I don't know. James Hetfield? I'm going with James.
And another James Hetfield. Okay.
Another Ross Robinson. He got something out of Corey that, again, I don't think will ever be touched. Oh.
I gotta say, I guess I'm surprised, but also not surprised that we heard so many Corey Taylors. Not because Corey is anything less than great, because he is absolutely great, but to hear him, over people like Bruce Dickinson and Rob Halford and, Mike Patton and, a lot of other names that I sort of expected. But hey, there it is. Your favorite rockers have reacted. And the number one pick, clearly, is Corey Taylor. There it is. Rockers have chosen him as the greatest metal vocalist of all time.